2022, I was posted to Cantonment Medical Center Ojo, where I met Konyabi Abukami, who requested sex for me and I refused. Ever since then, this man has been my nightmare in the army. He threatened to dismiss me each time he sees me. He injects me, comes to my room to inject me. My own apartment, come to my room here to inject me. Sends some boys to my house. If I'm lying, I have all evidence. I have evidence against him. And I have witnesses. Come to my house to inject me. He also stigmatized me that I have mental illness. Each time I try to expose him, or each time any senior person, any senior officer trying to intervene, he will tell them that I have mental illness. He even wrote to DOA to board me out. He wrote to DOA 3 good times to board me out of army. He freezed my account for 1 year. He freezed my account February last 13 date, no salary. I cried to some senior officers. I wrote a petition using section 179 of the Armed Forces Act. I've seen so many officers, senior officers, junior officers to intervene, but none of them is giving me listen here. But anyone who's trying to intervene, he will tell them I have mental illness. The day he locked me, he injected me, he almost raped me. When they caught him and he said I have mental illness, he took me to psychiatry hospital. He went to lock me up there. He locked me up there for 1 good month without any medication. He denied me access to military courses. And meanwhile, they know very well that my progression in the army determined my course attendance. No course. Now they've given me admission in medical school. They refuse to release me. Deny me everything. I can't even go on pass to see my parents. No pass, no leave for me. But please, if anything to happen to me, please hold them responsible. Hold Kone IB Abdulkarim responsible, especially Kone IB Abdulkarim, Kone GS Ogo, Brigadier General IB Shelebo. Hold them responsible. They are my nightmare in the army.
You have on the screen right now is a statement from the Nigerian Army on X saying, as by way of responding to that allegation by the young lady, we assure the Nigerian public, the statement says, that the Nigerian Army as an institution is committed to upholding the integrity and morals of its personnel, and as such, appropriate actions will be taken based on the findings of the investigation. We urge the public to allow the investigative process to take its course and refrain from making hasty judgments. The Nigerian Army remains dedicated to serving our nation with honor and integrity. That's the statement from the Nigerian Army as a result of the allegations made public by the young lady. And that's the next conversation we want to have this morning with Colonel Yomidare, his former Nigerian Army Legal Services, former Director, Nigerian Army Legal Services. He joins us virtually. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Colonel.
Ayo, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let's begin with what you make of the allegations making the rounds by the lady. We'll come to the response of the Army later, but speak to us about that allegation made by the young lady, particularly because this is not the first time we're hearing of this, but most of the time we just hear of it and then that's it. But this one has gotten the attention of the Nigerian Army. What do you make of it?
Well, thank you very much, Ayo. I salute everyone. Coincidentally, today is January the 15th, which marks Nigerian Army Remembrance day. So it's a very, very important day. But of course, it's an opportunity to also probably set records straight and enlighten the general public about some of the things that are happening. You asked me a specific question. I cannot deny the fact that I've seen this on the social media. It has been viral for some time now, and everybody, especially the Nigerian public, people are interested. I believe this is a very weighty allegation against the Nigerian army, and the Nigerian army that I know as an institution, would have to carry out an in-depth investigation and try to clear its name, because this borders on integrity. And as an institution, I'm glad to note that something has been put out there from the general public that they are going to investigate. But I want to believe that, like I said earlier, it's a very weighty allegation, and they must really go all out to investigate this. And if people are found to have committed an infraction here, because it's against military ethics, for officers, to fraternize with junior officers, especially from the opposite sex. That is one. And aside that, it's also an offense, to ill-treat fellow soldiers or officers of inferior rank. The Nigerian, that is why provision is made in the Armed Forces Act. Section 179, has provisions for soldiers who are affected, who feel that they have been victimized, or they have some case to put forward. So section 179 provides for the other ranks, and also amongst the officers too. There's section 178, which also makes provision. So you can see that these things are provided for in the Armed Forces Act. That is to show that it's not something that can be treated with levity, that it must be investigated. And, I want to urge the Nigerian army to also come out clean on this, to make the result of their investigation, to make it known to the public, because this has generated a lot of interest, and people, not even only in Nigeria, across the globe, they are listening, they are watching. So I believe that this has to be done as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Well, from your experience and the information that I want to believe that you have been privy to over the years, we'll come to section 179 in a bit. Do you think how widespread can you guess that this probably is? Because according to the lady, her payment was suspended last year. She's made overtures over the years to try to get some intervention by senior officers, and it didn't really go anywhere. So, and this suspicion will be that there will be many others in various parts of the country who are going through this kind of thing and may not be able to say anything, or for fear of being victimized or whatever. So it's taking quite some things from this young lady to come out and say what she said. So from your experience, how widespread would you guess this is that many people never even get to know about? Can you hear me, Colonel? Okay, well, hopefully we'll be able to get him back in a bit, because right now we can't. I'm hoping perhaps because he's in transit, as you have seen the other time there, we are unable to get to him, but I'm very sure that we'll get back to him in no time. Quickly to talk about that section 179 that the young lady reference at which Colonel Dari also talked about. The section 179 is titled Complaints by Soldiers, Ratings and Aircraftsmen. And the subsection 1 says, if a soldier, rating or aircraftman thinks himself wronged in any manner, in any matter by an officer or by a soldier, rating or an aircraftman, he may make a complaint with respect to that matter to his commanding officer. Subsection 2 says, if a soldier, rating or an aircraftman thinks himself wronged in any matter by his commanding officer, either by reason of redress not being given to his full satisfaction on a complaint under subsection 1, or any other reason, he may make a complaint with respect thereto to any Army, Naval, or Air Force officer under whom the complainant is for the time being serving. Under whom the complainant is for the time being serving, being an officer not below the rank of brigadier or corresponding rank. This lady clearly says that he went through this, but I think we have Colonel Dari back. Colonel, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I just wanted to, before we come back to this subsection 179, how far back do you think this issue goes? Because according to the young lady, she only has, her payment was suspended last year. But how far back do you think this goes? How in-depth do you think this issue is that many people may or may not be aware of over the years?
Well, from what if you listen carefully too, you see, without coming here to try to defend the army, but I believe, like, the army is an institution, is not a one-man show business whereby someone will just wake up and you refuse to pay somebody's salary for upwards of a month. I think the important thing here is, I'm glad that it's been investigated, and the investigation should be done as swiftly as possible, because this borders on integrity. You know, the army as an institution, I'm sure, will not want to trade its integrity for cheap, to the extent that anyone will try to cover up. These things are not acceptable. Like I said earlier, it's even against professional ethics, for an officer to fraternize, with the female soldier. Not even, so provisions are made, and talking about how far. There are laid down procedures, so I wouldn't know if this has been exhausted, if this has been exhausted, because there's a department of Army administration that takes charge of all these, petitions. Well, aside the fact that even within, because the soldier in question is a personnel of the medical corps. So in the medical corps, they also have their structure there, and everyone is answerable administratively to the chief of administration. And I know that in the offices of the chief of administration, they have also departments that take care of all these petitions or redresses. So I don't know. It's also fair to hear. In law, they say all the Teran party. You have to hear from both sides. The army has said that she's investigating. We've only had the soldiers, complain. And well, I would like to seize this opportunity too to say that the army, especially in the military, both the army, the Air Force, and the Navy, they have to also step up, and ensure that recruitment processes are well guided. There must be, because you cannot rule out individuals having their personal issues, People sometimes, so there must be proper profiling, background check of people that are going to be recruited and thorough training, because under normal circumstances, it's not even, the proper norm for soldiers, to come over the social media, to start expressing their grievances. Like I said, there are structures. These things, I don't know, but I don't want to believe that things have changed. I believe it's still the same military that I left, years back, and especially with some happenings, a shorter one is the one that the chief of army staff himself had to pay a visit to the governor of Lagos State and expressing or apologizing, for the action of a soldier that went on social media and took the governor to the cleaners. These are not, part of the military discipline. So things have to be done to checkmate this. And if indeed this soldier was so abused the way she claimed she was abused, I think there's a need for them to look into it properly and find a way of bringing to book whosoever is responsible, because 3 officers have been mentioned here, and so thorough investigation must be done. Where is she living right now? Why is her salary being withheld? So all these things, all these allegations are very weighty, and I think it behoves on the military. The Nigerian army, to come out clean and let the let the public know what is really the case in this circumstance. Yes.
Colonel, it's very, very interesting that you mentioned the word discipline, because as far as the Nigerian army is concerned, anyone who knows that institution knows that one of the core values of the Nigerian army is discipline. And this conversation we're having is not in any way intended to disparage the institution of the military, but to at least try to preserve that institution. It's a large number of personnel, so occasionally 1 or 2 persons may err, and of course, as you said, the institution has its systems around it. So I just want to put that forward. So for the young lady to have come out this much, and say what she said, that conversation that many people are saying is about 5 minutes plus long. So for her to have come out and even dared to mention the names of her senior officers, superior officers, to the point that she said that even attempts were made by her to reach out to other senior officers who are superior to those ones, and they disparaged her, and consequently those ones said, well, you still have to go through the hierarchy and all. What do you think could have informed her going to that extent? Everyone knows that ordinarily the system in the military or in any member of the armed forces is to go through the ranks. But for her to have come out this way to make these allegations, what could have informed it, Colonel?
Well, I honestly, like I said earlier, I'm not here to hold brief for the army, but at the same time, I think it will just be fair enough to allow the army to conduct the investigation that has been promised that will be conducted. I don't see this being swept under the carpet, because it is very, very weighty. Again, like I said, everyone is quite tense and not happy about this, because it borders on fundamental human rights too. And lately, I've seen some developments, prior to what used to be in the military, that right now they have even the human rights desk So I want to believe that they too want to, as much as possible, try to be transparent, and accountable in their conduct. So these allegations are quite weighty. I think we should all be patient and allow time for the military, to investigate like they've promised. And like I said again, to the military, they must try as much as possible, to come out clean, to make their findings, to make it public, so that people can know what exactly has gone wrong, because again, there are procedures, and I don't know, but I don't think the soldier in question has exhausted those procedures, because a situation whereby you start seeing social media release post episode or scene 1, scene 2. I mean, this is not the way it should be at all.
Like I said, very much understood.
Everyone joining the soldier, either as an officer or as an other rank, there are codes of conduct.
Yes, Colonel. That is definitely that's definitely understood.
Going to the social media to express grievances, I don't think is one of those. And especially, it appears as if if you look also closely, I mean, the soldier is not even in uniform.
Well, so I think it's just as you have said, Colonel, if you can hear me.
The other time, after a soldier was alleged to have violated traffic regulations and then was arrested by the governor, shortly after, there was someone who appeared in uniform, in camouflage, claiming to be an officer of the military, and then abusing, insulting, the governor. There's no trained officer would do such a thing, But again, conspiracy theory. You discover that some people really believe that that fellow is an officer, but some of us really looked at it.
The whole idea, Colonel, if you can hear me,
the cap.
If you can hear me, Colonel, the whole idea
wearing the cap badge, it was put upside down. A lot of things happen. But again, that is a clarion call on the military itself.
Well, Colonel, if you can hear me, I think yes, your point is quite taking, and if one would get the fact that this whole idea is not to disparage the army or the military in any way, manner, shape, or form. The idea is to protect that institution and point out anything that is wrong. We have confidence that the army will do the needful, as they have said. Colonel Yomidare is a former director in the Nigerian Army Legal Services. Thank you so much for your time this morning, and truly appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.